having a conversation on red flags, what they are, the ones which are extreme, the ones which aren't, the things to look out for, when you should start looking out for red flags, and everything red flags. So if you're listening to us and you don't know what red flags are, well, no comment. But we'll tell you what they are. And as usual, we're here to make your relationships better and to make your life better on the whole. So difficult conversations, yes, definitely sometimes. It's not nice when you're being reminded that there's some traits in your partner that really you shouldn't overlook. But we have to do those things because we want you safe and happy all the time. So that's it for Strong and Sassy. That's what we're doing today. But we're live on Facebook. So if you go to join 99.7, our page, you should be able to watch us live. And you definitely want to be watching us live tonight. There's a lot to see. Let me just say, I have two amazing women with me, two of my favorite Strong and Sassy guests. And one of them I'm a little afraid of. Actually, both of them I'm a little afraid of. They're a bit much, but yeah. Oh. She said, ow, ow. The Kaftan specialist is here with us tonight. Isina Batali joins us. Oh, Adieng, am I lying?
Nah, am I a Kaftan specialist?
I
just know the criminal.
Exactly. Okay, so a criminal.
You just turned a criminologist.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
So Esinam is here with us. And of course, Adipa as well. So great to have you ladies here with me tonight. So let's dive straight in. So let's start with red flags. Like, what are red flags even in the first place?
Okay, so I'll take that. So basically, when we were young, we were taught a poem. So when you see the traffic light, there is something you should know. Red means stop. Yellow means get ready. Green means go.
Go.
And go. Ordinarily, I would also say that in a football match or in any sporting event, when a red card is thrown out or is shown, then it means something has seriously gone wrong. And a player must leave the field, or there should be a stop or a hold. So ordinarily, red flags are there are some of the things around us. We see them being flashed around. But when you talk about relationships, they are the things you cannot ignore or overlook. So in that sense, I'll still go back to my primary school rhyme. Red will mean stop, pause, take a second look, reorganize, and measure yourself.
Yeah.
Whether you can be able to continue or you would completely recede.
Okay.
So that is my basic explanation of what a red flag in a relationship is.
Yeah.
Okay, Islam, do you want to add something?
Yeah, to add to it, I don't think red flags are really something that means you should quit. But like she said, it means stop, pause, and assess if you can tolerate this BS moving forward. Sometimes there are things that your partner does or shows you, or certain character flaws that they may have, that you will be able to live with. If you assess yourself, you're like, oh, I think this is tolerable, but there are those that you may not be able to tolerate. So there are various levels to this red flag thing. There are things that are not grave. There are things that are also, and I was explaining earlier that red flags are mostly subjective. What may be a red flag to me may not be a red flag to you, or someone else. So it's people specific and relationship specific. Because even with you anymore, the red flags in your current relationship may not have been the same in your past relationship. So it's people and relationship specific. So as a human, in a physical or emotional relationship with somebody, when you assess yourself and you figure out things that they may do that may or may not go well with you, assessing them and deciding which one you want to go with and which one you cannot go with, that is the process of analyzing your red flags.
Okay, so let's start with when we should start looking out for red flags.
Okay, so right at the beginning, you don't set sail before you look for the rudder. You look for the rudder before you set sail.
Okay.
You don't get on the ship and get it moving without knowing where the steering for the ship is and even the map or the geography of the sea on which you are, and probably your destination. So for me, when you talk about red flags, you don't wait. Right from the beginning, right at the commencement of the relationship, even at the friendship stage, that is when you have to start looking out for things, as Isinam said, are context specific to you. Probably you cannot tolerate a man who snores. You go to visit Mr. and Mr. is fast asleep and the door is shaking because he's he's not just snoring, he's breaking the door down.
He's
a generator.
breaking generational curses.
Obviously.
This
So
guy.
with that, you know that in all honesty, you cannot tolerate this for a very long time. Probably it is a genetic defect or something, and the person may not be able to work on it. Are you ready to go along with it? But that notwithstanding, talking about the context specific, there are general things that you have to look out for right at the commencement of any relationship.
So for you, it's right at the beginning.
Right at the beginning. Friendship, before it even develops into a love affair, before it goes on and on and on, and probably into a committed relationship.
For example, right, if you say right at the beginning, does the way, for example, a man approach you, could that like potentially be a red flag? Because imagine if, you know,
Obviously.
this guy is like so brazen and so bold and just walks up to you and is like, yo, what's up? And da, 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 da. Does that mean that, okay, well, he has these great pickup lines, so, you know, it's a red flag. Maybe he's too confident or he's too bold or he's too this.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think the red flags will come in when you have crossed the line of casual dealings. You understand? But you shouldn't also ignore the commencement issues. Probably he was not just bold, he was cocky. All right. He has an ego problem. I mean, his approach to you may have looked really, you know, nice at the
Confident.
beginning and confident. But probably in between that, there is cockiness and an ego lining the whole confidence thing that probably should prick your thoughts. And it is something that you should look out for moving forward. That, okay, so if I give this guy the chance, okay, we can develop this friendship. But you are always looking out for that because probably you can't tolerate an egoistic man.
Yeah.
And his approach at the beginning may have looked like a bit psychedelic, you know. Charlie, hey boy, you know, Charlie, or he knows what is.
Harvey Specter kind of guy.
Meanwhile,
And a kaftan, he's wearing a
he's a
kaftan.
psycho. Meanwhile, he's a psycho, right?
Yes.
Would you want to add something to that
Yeah.
before we?
I mean, thinking about it, right? You're right at the beginning. There are things that you may notice from the beginning, but there are things too that they can hide from you. There are some criminals in this world. They can hide certain things from you till you are far gone in the relationship before they show you those sides. And most men usually complain that women that they marry usually hide their true character from them till
Until-
they are married. But then you need to be more vigilant. I would say there are some, if as well, I think that we should also know what we don't want.
Yes.
So once you know what you don't want, you try to poke the bear to see if you can get the information you need as to where they stand on that particular thing. For example, you know that you don't want someone who is not kind. You know, like who is, let's say, Armstrong, stingy.
Okay.
Okay, you don't want a stingy man, or you don't want a stingy woman. But then you also don't want to be asking money to seem like you are a gold digger or you're a slave queen or whatever. So how then do you find out if the person you are with is stingy or not? Right? Then you start looking at how they treat other people. Do they give money? Do they tip the waiter? Do they tip the Uber driver? Do they, you know, if they send someone, do they say, bring me the change and everything, come and calculate to the latter? You know that you probably don't like that type of man. So you may want to be studying certain things that they do to be able to figure out if you can live with some of their red flags that may not be overtly seen. Things like ego and maybe lack of personal hygiene, which are generic red flags. Like imagine obi pan na moto mu shishi.
Chai.
The heat emanating that can boil egg.
Jesus.
I tell you.
Listen, I'm your unkind.
Okay, I mean, good points there. So let's start by categorizing the red flags. So obviously they are non-negotiables, and then they're the ones that maybe things you can work on. I mean, if your partner has a willing spirit, of course. So let's start with the non-extreme red flags. So Gifty, for you, what are some of the things that should cause concern but are not, panicky immediately?
As she has already said, personal hygiene issues. You don't brush before you sleep. For me,
People are tall, morning tree.
you don't take your bathing seriously.
The brushing in the evening is easy to forget.
Okay, so let me pardon that. But you don't shower. You come all out sweaty. All right. We all produce an amount of sweat. And so everybody can be forgiven on that score. But when you know obviously that you are sweaty and you don't take good care of your health, for me it's a no. I mean, you should look out for it. Because this probably a man or woman you wake up every day of your life to see for the next 50 years. Probably, depending on when you get married. Are you going to tolerate that? And you see, today I was telling a colleague of mine at the office that the red flags that we see before relationships and we take for granted become not just red flags. They don't just become flags. They become buildings when we get married. Because now they get calcified.
Yeah.
And you can't uproot them. So if you think that you don't want a tree to bear fruit, you uproot it. You don't allow it, nurture it, for it to become a big tree. Now you need a chainsaw machine. Whilst you could have just used your finger to pull it out. So these little things, personal hygiene, one. And then as she said, stinginess. On somewhere ding keke. All right. For shaggy reasons, irresponsibility. All right, irresponsibility. I mean, he or she is just irresponsible. As a baby, some level of I'm looking for the right word, but
I don't care.
Proper. I don't care. As a baby, and funny, even when you try to draw the person's attention, it's like, oh, because I don't, oh, Charlie, everything you talk. You see, these are the things because it means that the person doesn't have a listening and a changing ear, and though you will be evolving in the relationship, the person will be static in his old ways because he or she has no reason, all right, to evolve with you. So these are the little things, the listening ears, the given, okay, the personal health, the level of responsibility, okay, and even how he or she fraternizes, all right. The company they keep. Because this show me your friend, show me your character, actually is real, or mostly it's real. All right. So what company does he find himself in? And what do they do when they are together? You see, are they extremely profane? You should know that one day you'll be on the board.
Yeah.
Okay. But you may be a very conservative person who wouldn't want your issues to be discussed. These things are little things that men and women, who are going into relationships or in relationships overlook. But trust me, they grow to become bigger. Relationship issues that threaten the very foundation of even a marriage also, or what we can say about it. So for me, these are some of the little things that we can go around and say, oh, they look trivial, but they are important.
Okay.
Yes.
Esinam, what are yours?
I think that I would like to speak on the ones that we don't see or we don't notice that these are red flags, but they are actually red flags. The ones that we don't actually look out for, we are not taught to spot or notice. I mean, personal hygiene, they say or you would notice that the person is not taking care of themselves. You notice when they are irresponsible. But there are certain things that are big red flags that we don't pay attention to. Somebody who talks only about themselves. Like when you bring your good news, when you bring your good news plan that you're coming to share, they'll be like, oh, me too. Then they'll cut you. Then they'll cut the conversation and just
make it about
themselves. When you are sad and you are crying, oh, it happened to me too. Friend, in that moment, I am the one who is sad. Allow me to have my moment. People who can't allow you to have your own space, allow you to shine for a bit. No, no. You are supposed to be under my covering. You're supposed to be behind me. You're supposed to be the backseat person. People who treat you like that, big red flags. Big, 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 big red
That's true.
flags.
That's true.
Another thing that also people tend to overlook, right? When it comes to relationship that turned out to be big deals, is how even the partner treats their family.
Yeah.
You don't see that, oh, you are with somebody for 1 month, they've not called their mother, and you are there and you think that they can't go 1 month without calling you.
Yeah.
So you have to notice that this person, maybe they are emotionally detached. Is that something you can live with? Is that something that's going to be your red flag, or you are okay with it? You know, somebody who will not care for you, that is not interested in your progress. Like, they don't ask how was work, how's school going, how far are you with the current project that you're running. Nothing about you interests them. They've never bought you something to say that, my dear, today I want you to feel special, so I'm buying you this, or I'm taking you here. And it's mostly women to men, right? Because most women think that it's the men who are supposed to do it, and they end up not even showing any kind of interest in their partner's lives.
Yeah.
You know, so those things are things that we may not be looking at, but they are big time red flags.
Okay.
There are big ones like cheating and all that.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to move to the gone red flags. But why don't you guys join the conversation? The text lines are open at 055 1111997, 055 1111997. And if you just tuned in, this is Stronger and Sassy here on Joy 99.7 FM. And we are talking about red flags, the things that you should look out for in your relationship, when you should look out for these things. And then obviously we'll talk about what to do when you see some of these red flags, so the best way to handle red flags, and using red flags as an assessment tool for whether a relationship is built to last, or whether it's time to say goodbye. So let's move to the extreme red flags, the ones these ones, dear, you cannot ignore. What are some of yours?
Any form of abuse. Any form of it. I mean, even the shadow of it, emotional, mental, or physical, please. That is the biggest flag you can find. Because for me, that is the umbrella under which all the others subsist. Is the bigger issue. Any form of abuse. Islam talked about somebody who is quite selfish. It's the me factor. Look, anybody who is into the me factor will abuse you. I mean, that goes without saying. The person will abuse you, all right? Because the person makes you feel inadequate, unimportant, okay? So it is me. Oh, you should even be lucky you have me.
Yeah.
That will expose you to deep emotional abuse. You'll be so mentally abused that you will lose your confidence, you will lose your ego, you will lose your very existence. So whilst others are going ahead and looking beautiful and looking strong, you are hiding in the shadows of your significant other. So for me, any form of abuse is a no-no. You can't negotiate that. It is a huge red flag that must be spoken about right in the relationship, or if it didn't happen at the relationship stage and it's now into a committed marriage, then must be addressed to whatever extent that you as a woman or as a man can do so. So for me, abuse. And then I also see this for most marriages, your partner becomes your competitor. Yes. So the significant other begins to compete instead of being there.
Instead of supporting. Instead of being a companion, he becomes a competitor. And so it's like when you are going a bit up, hey, and then you are sacrificing the family time for your personal things, hey, and me cry, hey. I mean, he should be your companion. Yeah.
Somebody that will push you.
Your cheerleader.
Yes, your cheerleader. If everybody gives up on you, he or she should be the one who is available. But when he becomes your competitor or she becomes your competitor, please, if it is in a marriage setting, address it ASAP. If it is in a relationship leading to marriage or leading to a committed or a settled relationship, please, with all due respect, look at that. Because if you get in, know that he or she is going to control you. And when the person controls you, you will not grow. You will not evolve. So 20 years later, you are the same he or she saw, and nothing has happened to you.
No development.
No development. You won't develop. So I'll start with these two. I know Isinam will come in, and then we'll come in with others.
Okay, Isinam, hit us. I'm even afraid. But hit us with
The big old cheating.
Yeah.
The big old popular cheating.
Yeah.
A cheat. Unless God comes to wipe
Obehu
their hands
Christo.
clean, unless they meet Christ.
Yes.
But somebody who you've agreed to have an exclusive relationship with, who cheats on you, will cheat on you. Even if they break up with the current partner they have, the possibility of future prospects a day. So one of the things that you shouldn't overlook is a cheating partner, because a cheating partner is likely to be an abusive partner. Because once they acknowledge that they've cheated on you, they would never admit it. They would deny and make you look like you're the crazy one.
Yeah. Until you actually start to believe you're crazy.
Yeah.
They start calling you paranoid. They start, in fact, that is, it all comes under a manipulative partner.
Yes.
I feel like the umbrella word is a manipulative partner.
Yeah.
Someone who is trying to control you, and sometimes they make you think that you are even taking a decision. But they are.
Yeah.
Like they want to control every step you take. Everywhere you go, they must be aware. Everything is not out of care for you or out of your care for your well-being.
When you go to, there's a time on it.
Try and come back by.
Also, no, but you've kept longer. But you've been there for 2 hours. So what are you doing?
What at all are you doing? So wait, without you, can't I exist? Can't I have my own world in which I have fun? Like it's a process. These narcissistic behaviors, it starts from somewhere. Let me even break it down so that if you're listening to me and there's something that you find, because I follow this guy on TikTok who is a diagnosed narcissist, and he talks about
TikTok has its good sides.
Yes,
It does.
It does.
It's not all shaking bottles.
It's not always.
So those of you who have
The
just been
woe.
doing shaking bottles on TikTok, there's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, there's this guy who is a diagnosed narcissist. So he tells his followers a lot of the narcissistic behaviors. People who are narcissists, how they behave. One, they reel you in by doing the things you want to see. So when they start the relationship with you, they try to hear everything you want in an ideal partner. Then they try to become that partner for you. Now, when they have you in by reeling you in a very nice way, then they start controlling you. Then they make sure that your whole life revolves around them. Look, because they are too nice to you, they are everything you dreamed of. You will do anything they say.
You think that there's something going on.
You will
Because
even
they're so
notice.
nice. Yeah.
You even notice when they are controlling you, when they are trying to be the center of your world. Everything about you has to be with them. If you can't do anything on your own, then the third step is when they actually like now it's like breakfast on me, lunch on me, everything, and then you can't take decisions anymore. They cut you away from your family and your friends. That is when it's becoming dangerous. And then at the latter point, they get tired of you, because now you have become they've conquered.
Yeah.
You have become like a trophy they've won, and so they keep you on the shelves and they go out for new conquests, for new challenges. And so if you find out that you are being with a narcissistic person, try as much as possible to run away. And I'm not even gonna lie about it that try and see if he will change.
Flee.
They don't-
Such
narcissists
people,
don't
Flee.
change.
such people don't change.
Flee.
So if you find out that someone is, I mean, in the beginning stages, you wouldn't know that they are trying to be the ideal partner for you. They are,
You know, Steve Harvey always says one thing that women shouldn't do is don't tell a man everything you want.
Exactly.
Let him figure it out.
Yes.
Which means that the effort will be genuine,
Yeah.
and then he'll be discovering you. But you know how you are. You meet a guy's like, oh, I love flowers, and I love chocolates, and I love the music, and I love when a guy comes to take me to the beach, and then he starts doing all those things. You're like, oh my God, he's so amazing. Oh my God, oh my God. But you told him what to do.
Yes.
You know, as opposed to somebody who's actually thinking and saying, oh, what
Yes.
does she
can I
like? What
do?
does she
What
want?
can I
Yes.
do?
Exactly.
Yes.
This.
Yes.
You know, so don't divulge everything. Be a bit mysterious.
Yes.
Like, it's one of the things I have to say to my fellow women out there. Like, have an air of mystery around you.
Yeah.
Let them try to discover you. And discover you and your partner together. Don't be in a rush to also be all they want you to be at once. What do you look for in an ideal partner? That question has become obsolete. People have found a port to that answer since. So they'll tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Please take time and discover who you are with,
Yeah.
and discover who they are innately. You know, stop looking at the very superficial things and the shallow things, and look beyond the glass, whatever that you're seeing, and try to get to the person themselves, who they are when no one is watching, how they are to their family, how they treat other people. You know, these are the things that will give you the answers that you've been looking for. The person that they will tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Yo.
So I think it's important to. I'm enjoying chewing my
Yes.
acrylics off my nails.
I've been watching you throughout.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so you want to say something? Go ahead.
Yes, and I also would want to say family. How does the person relate to your family? Okay. This love me, love my dog.
If it's a red flag, then it's a problem. For some of us, we don't like.
Oh, it's true that you may
yeah,
not
people.
you may not like
You know, before
too
you,
much
Before you
abusiasem.
continue,
Yes.
let me just ask you a question.
Yes.
You see, this our society. When you meet a man
Yeah.
and he decides to bestow on you the great and scarce honor
Of being
of
a
taking you to meet his family,
Yes.
as if that is the pathway to eternal life.
Yes.
When you get there, now suddenly you have to be a soft-spoken, subservient, courtesying girl, you know, who doesn't use too much makeup and knows how to make Kobe and consomme stew
Hey
and
boy.
all sorts of things.
Yes. Not
I mean,
necessarily.
so for example, let me
Yeah.
build. So if you, let's say I'm your girlfriend and
Yeah.
you take me to meet your parents.
Yeah.
And I get there and I don't want to lay the table with your sisters. I don't want to come and pack food after we finish. I didn't come and display my cooking. I want to sit down with your parents or whatever, have an intellectual conversation about what's going on and stuff. If you are on the other side, is that a red flag? Because sometimes the red flags can be dicey in situations like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would they say that then it's because so it means that this man, she doesn't like to cook and she doesn't like to serve and she doesn't like.
No, I beg to differ. With this, I will say that it's also context specific.
Exactly.
It's about the person. You understand? You have your personality, and probably he has it. Sorry that we are digressing a bit, but it has to be addressed anyhow. All right? So if you don't want to cook, okay, you don't want to cook.
No,
but
don't
you
cook at
no
home,
in your Asel's house, sort of.
You've gone to
But
visit and then-
it doesn't mean you should be disrespectful. All right? Outright disrespect towards your SOs.
How do you say it's nice? Abna bawa minasha chensiami. Let's watch this.
Oh,
Then you
no.
say, oh ma, not today. I don't really feel like washing up. Is there a polite way to say I no go wash the dishes? I didn't come
No,
here to come
I
and
feel
wash
like
them."
in that case you can go and tell your boyfriend. that,
Yes.
babe, this today I'm not in the mood to really wash dishes. I don't really want to be in the kitchen. I'm having some serious cramps, and so
As in lie, like all hey women, you see how women use
Oh,
pin loaders and
cramps
see,
are
the thing
cramps.
is, we've not yet evolved as a society where you can be pardoned for that, for not wanting to wash the dishes. I think that in such an instance, right, does your partner already know you as a helpful partner? That's all that matters. If they know that you are already helpful, but today you are not in the mood, it's different. You you respect the family that you are going into. I think that's the most important thing, that you are respectful. And adibo doesn't come from washing the dishes,
Yes,
or whatever, but in your relations with them prior, because I don't think the first day you go there now they'll come and tell you to come and wash dishes.
You haven't
Because
met some families.
oh, how? I don't think they will trust you enough to let you come and hold their dishes.
Oh, they do.
When
But you've been taking care of their son. Of course they trust you. But anyway, I get what you're saying.
yeah, but I mean to say that generally, the person shouldn't be disrespectful towards your family. All right. I mean,
What if your family debo? Like they're annoying. Like you have some annoying sisters.
well, so you learn how to tolerate, or as we said initially. So is it a red, a yellow? You would have to determine
Sometimes
that.
their family crowd could be a red flag for you. Like,
Yes.
if I look at
Yes.
your sisters and how they treat me, I don't think I can be with you. Like,
Yeah, because this
unless
goes.
it's either like we are trying to create a distance between me and them, not you and them, because of course they are your sisters.
Yeah.
So let's try as much as possible that I don't get into contact with as much contact with them to provoke me or to trigger something. But I mean, you can be cool with them. Me, I'm dating my son. Well, let them date there. It's a dating something. Day your day, you know.
Make a day my day.
Let me date my day, you know. But if you think that he's still insisting, then I'm like, if you are insisting that I put myself in unhappy situations just for you,
Yeah.
then that is a
A
red,
red
flag.
flag.
I see.
Yes.
So if I say I won't wash and you're insisting I should wash.
Oh, yes.
Then you are the red flag.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Turning red flags around.
Yes.
Okay.
And then when the person is extremely insecure,
Aye.
Oh.
How did I forget this?
extreme insecurity, I mean, just say, hey, so you can't even have a breather in the relationship. You are just, he may not be a narcissist, as my sister said, but the person is simply insecure, and mostly it comes from our past relationships. So the person carries his past into the relationship, or she carries her past into the relationship. So, oh yes, the generalizations, you know, all men are scum, that in quote, okay, all women are, you know, and so the person is just steeped, all right, in a kind of thought that cannot be changed. And so that causes him or her to be extremely insecure. If you can't trust the person, there is no need of you continuing with the relationship at all. And if it is in a marriage, then you have to solve it. Because, I mean, that is the foundation. You should feel secured around your spouse and partner, and be confident that you are the owner. You have, I mean, even if it's not a marriage, I mean, for the time being, as Animwaa is here, or your media. And you shouldn't be too bothered whether Animwaa is on air or she's not on air. Because you know that at all cost, Animwaa will come back home, whatever it is. So extreme insecurity, extreme insecurity is a red flag. And you see, the danger about insecurity is that it doesn't go.
Yeah.
Okay, and it starts slowly. You know, it starts slowly, and then it blows up in a marriage, because now you are committed.
Yeah.
All right, and so you have less space to turn around. It's like a baby, when the baby is fully formed, cannot really turn. It's stuck. All right, but when the baby is little, that's when it has the womb to move around. All right, so insecurity start right at the beginning. Hey, no baby, yeah, me say you. Hey, and now sure ya was say there. Hey, I say mom sure attention there. Hey, what can one know? You know, and it's like, oh, so what happened? Who died because of that?
The problem is that we see the women that we don't. Men see the women that they don't want and still go in for them. So they try to go in for those they don't want and try to change them to become those they want. So you've seen someone, you met her already, she was doing her wig, she was doing her nails, she was doing her makeup and everything, and you still fell in love. What makes you think that you'll be the one to change the person? So then why are you now being insecure about the person's looks? Hey, the way you are looking as you are going out there.
Are you sure? Are you sure you are going out with the girls?
Are you sure you are just going to game night? Are you sure you are just going to karaoke? Are you sure you are just going to meet a couple of friends? Who are you meeting? But you saw the person
like that.
You met them
at a Bobloshi with their wig and their
you met
eyelashes
them and they were the slave mamas. Why are you trying to change the person? Or can you tone down on the looks? Can you tone down on this? Can you tone? Look, everybody has their paths they are charting. Everybody is allowed to make mistakes. As in life, we're not trying to avoid the mistakes. So if you think that the person that you've met is making certain mistakes, just allow them to make their mistakes, and they will come to the realization and change on their own. You are not judge, jury, and executioner to come and be trying to alter people's lives to suit yours. You met them the way they were. You went in for them the way they were, and now you're trying to change them. That is a manipulative partner.
What's about jealousy?
It's all part.
I think it's all part of the master manipulation bracket. They use insecurity, jealousy, and narcissism to just get you at the point where they need you. And if you don't stand for anything and you are just doing it for shaggy reasons, the air will just blow you anyhow. So you meet this person and then they blow you to the left. Then you meet the next person, they blow you to the right. At the end of the day, you end up...
You are the one who is
confused.
battered.
You're like, so who do you people want me to be? Because you meet the one who wants you to be calm and quiet, and then you shrink yourself to be calm and quiet just to suit this person, and then they leave. Then you meet another person who wants you to be very bubbly
and loud,
a slave queen, and you're like, so what do you want from me? But as a human being, as a woman, stand for something.
Decide who you are.
Exactly. Stand for something and find out your personality, shape up your personality, right? Another red flag that we're avoiding, people who never apologize. There's some people they would make everything your fault, even when they are at fault. They would turn everything to become your problem.
And you'll be sitting down wondering,
like they always have a comeback for something they've done. They never know how to fully apologize and say, I apologize.
With no buts.
With no buts. Because once you have a but to the apology, it's not an apology. Once
it's an explanation.
Exactly.
No, it's worse than that.
You're trying to justify your wrongdoings. But no, you don't have control over how someone reacts to something you've said or you've done. It is them, and it's their reaction, and they got angry. So don't say, but this one too is too small, why are you blowing up? No. Apologize for your wrongdoing. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it. I don't think I'll do it again. I don't think it will ever happen again.
Said, I don't think I'll do it again.
Because left to you are human. Right? You are fallible. It can happen involuntarily. Right? But then if you realize that, okay, as much as it depends on me, I won't do this again. Right? That is when you have actually apologized to somebody. So people don't apologize. People look out for them.
Okay. Let me just read a few of the messages that are coming through. Edmund says, good evening. The following are some of the red flags in relationships: emotional detachment, disrespect in communication to each other, unwillingness to apologize to each other when at fault, making unpleasant comments about each other's family. That's very interesting. Ajiman Joseph says, another big red light is when a partner may pretend to be something they are not, which sometimes is very difficult to notice. Okay, Tom says, the manipulative partner, I'm sure, is not only the man, or some women do this too. And that's from Tom North Carolina. So, of course, women definitely also manipulate. But we're going to open the phone lines. Actually, let's just open the phone lines and then we can continue with the discussion. So, 0302 216 541, 0302 216 541, and call me and tell me what you think. What are your red flags? What are the things that you are looking out for, and the things that if you see, then you know that this is not going right. Okay, let me take this text message. I'm so happy we're having this discussion. I believe I'm unfortunately saddled with a narcissist husband and to have 3 kids with him. We are in our 14th year of marriage. Do you ladies think it's too late for me? How do I handle the narcissistic ways of my husband and still progress? I'm really hurting deep down and emotionally exhausted. It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
That's
It's a tough one, and probably because she saw the signs. I mean, sometimes they are written on the walls. They are silent.
They are not.
Sometimes too they are not.
Sometimes they are written by the wall, but love is blind, so you can't see.
It's
Yeah.
so blurred, you can't see. But then at this point where you've had how many kids?
14 years and 3 kids.
3 kids. I don't think it's too late for anybody to leave. I don't think anything is too late, like it's too late for me to leave or whatever. But this narcissist won't probably agree to go for therapy because they think they're fine, and there's nothing wrong with them. So yours is a very dicey thing. But I think you should go for therapy for how to deal
with him
or how to live with him. I won't say here, I'm not a licensed therapist, so I can't really sit here and say that do this or do that. But seek help as to how you can cope, coping mechanisms. Because and if you think that if you have to cope with somebody who is supposed to be your husband, you can't bear it, then please pack your bags.
All right, so we have someone on the phone lines now, so let's do that. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Okay, this week I am calling from Hacho.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so yes, one other red flag for me is a partner who is always quick to report issues to outsiders. The least thing he or she is out telling people, third parties, the least thing, sincerely for me, it's a big red flag we should look out for. Because it means you can't keep anything between you. Every issue of yours would be in the public domain. And it is very, very bad.
Yeah.
Very, very bad.
Wow. Thank you for that. Good point there. Right? Good point. Because there's definitely a place for accountability in a relationship. But, I mean, every single matter.
Everything.
No.
People don't have minds of their own anymore.
Okay. We have another person on the phones. Hello, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good evening. My name is Steven. I'm calling from Achimota.
Okay, so what are your red flags?
Actually, I've been listening to you for some time. I have something to say if you allow me.
Okay.
Can I go ahead? Yes. I think I really like the discussion and you guys are doing well. But I want to find out, is there also not a space for partners who want to marry or they've already married and at the embryonic stage, the two of them can work things out or one can work something out so that, it will suit the two of them, or even I will say that, okay, this is me, but I want my marriage to work out and I can change, or I want to change for the marriage to be successful and all of us to be happy. Can we have such situation? Because probably I didn't understand you. It looks like if Mr. A is this and Miss A is that, just leave it like that. If you want, go for it. If you don't want it, just leave, because I have to be what I am. She has to be what she is. I think I'm a bit confused there. I'm a bit confused.
I get what you're
confused.
saying.
Sorry, I'm confused there.
It's fine.
I think I'm having some disagreement. If that can be properly emphasized or highlighted. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So what we're saying is that these are things that you look out for. Of course, everything is a conversation,
Yes.
So if I notice something that I'm uncomfortable about, I definitely want to have that conversation with my partner.
Yes.
Depending on their response, though.
Yes.
Because somebody, who is teachable and willing will say, okay, love, I've heard this. Let's see how I can work on it. Some people will tell you that this is how Jesus made me. And I will
Yeah.
So at that point, you decide that, okay, either I can live with this or I can't. So, I think our first go-to is always to have a conversation about the situation before Would you guys agree?
Yeah, because at the beginning, you recall that I defined red flags as things that you should look out for, and that whether you can tolerate them, okay, or they
Room for improvement.
there's room for improvement, or you are gonna stop. Okay, so our approach here has not been that, oh, if you see this or that, then that. No, we have always advocated, as we have been here, that the issues are these, but it depends on your risk tolerance level. If you think you can tolerate it to this height, that is you. But I can't live with a narcissist. But you may have the powers to do so. All right. So we are not saying that, oh, if you find a narcissist, then it's a no. All right.
Okay.
So we are saying that whatever red flags that all of us have discussed, they are out there. They are broad. Look at them. If you can tolerate them, if you can communicate about them. I have said here severally that work on it, talk about it, work on it, seek help. All right. Seek help. Talk about it, work on it. If it's a marriage, marriages don't just break because something you found a red flag or something. No, you have to circumvent it. You have to find a way around it. So if that is the case, then work on it. We are not saying that if you find this or that, then the lines are drawn. No.
Okay. Apart from, of course, the non-negotiables.
Yes,
like
the abuse is non-negotiable.
okay.
That.
So we
is
have another
non-negotiable.
person on the phone lines. Hello, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, believing I'm online, yes. My name is Zachariah. I'm
Hi,
calling
Zach.
from East Legon.
Okay.
A very quick one. I was married to a lady one time, and a quick one though, I'm trying to repeat myself, sorry. But I observed that each time we had misunderstanding, she never said sorry. And that is if it's from her. And it would be like she would extend the if you ask me, everything like for days. So in the end, I would be the one to be saying sorry when I did not do anything wrong. And then one time she said something that she wasn't brought up. She didn't know how to say sorry. She wasn't brought up. And I said, oh, okay. So I thought along the line then she would be, coming up with it. And I realized that it was persisting. Then the next thing I would hear, a phrase I remember very well, would be like, well, if you say I should say sorry, I'm sorry. And then there was a third phrase later in life. Because she wasn't saying sorry again. And then the next thing I heard was, every time I'm the one saying sorry. Why do I like saying sorry? And so I realized that nothing was working. And for me, for the sake of peace, I realized that I'm the one always saying sorry. So I think this one also, maybe, if you can enlighten all of us in this regard. Thank you very much for the conversation here.
Thank you too for that. So, Adepa, do you want to take what he said?
Yes. So, well, for him, he decided to leave because he wanted his peace. All right. Because obviously, looking at the definition that Isinam gave, this is a narcissist woman. All right. She's had her space and she's trying to control and she wouldn't say sorry. Meanwhile, she's always in the wrong. All right. So at a point, the other partner will be fatigued and wouldn't want to push any longer. And that is when you get to the breaking point. All right. That's why I'm saying that if you are willing to work on it, it takes two to tango. I mean, a tango dance can't be done by one person. You obviously trip and fall. So it takes two to tango. So if both of you are willing to let it work, make it work, then you can work on it. But if one person is putting in all the effort and the other person is just at the back seat and just enjoying the ride, and honey, where are we going? Wherever you go. Okay, not supporting the journey, not supporting the vision, and just being completely flaccid about the whole thing, then we are not going anywhere. That is when you get to the stop. Now red means stop. It doesn't mean be careful. It just means stop where you are. Don't continue. Don't progress. All right. Okay. So he has given us a perfect example of how you get to that point where you say that for the sake of my sanity, for the sake of my peace, for the sake of my longevity in life, please, let's end this. After all,
okay.
Anna.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. So we only have a few more minutes to go, 4 minutes actually. So why don't we let me take your final thoughts, and then we can wrap up. So, AC Nam.
Yes, ma'am. In wrapping up, I'll just say that know yourself, know what you want and what you don't want. Actually, write down what you cannot tolerate. Like, what's the worst thing someone could do to you? Mine is abuse. The worst thing you could ever do to me, right? The worst thing.
Yeah, come close to the mic.
Oh,
that's what
can
the
you hear me?
signal means. Yes,
Hi,
better.
Can you hear me?
Oh gosh.
Right. So, I mean, for me, the worst thing you could do to me is to be abusive. Then, in order of ranking, from abuse comes to a liar, then even cheater kind of way, but an abusive person and a lying person are the worst forms of partners I could ever be. Because, I mean, lying makes me look like I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Like, last, I come and realize that, you've been lying to me since. And thinking that you can get away with it because margin yejuma. You know what I mean? So, if you can't tolerate some things and you see signs of them, try to address it. If it cannot be addressed, please. I mean, we're not encouraging anybody to leave their relationship, but you know what to do. You know what to do when you are trying actively to fix things and they are not being fixed.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Adepa.
Okay, so I will come from the marriage point of view because I will say that marriage is a long-term commitment. If the red flags develop in the marriage, please seek help. That is why you belong to a community. You could belong to a religious community, or there is the family system to provide that kind of support. If you find anything that is quite condescending in the marriage and that is striking, that could affect you mentally, physically, and emotionally, please discuss it. Pray about it, obviously, but don't sit in your room and pretend as if all is well. Mm-hmm. If all is not well, all is not well. Come out clean and let somebody know that all is not well. Seek professional help when you need it. Seek family help when you need it. In fact, seek sisters' support when you need it. Don't keep it in you and die with it. There is no gain in that. You can see the red flag. You know that you are committed and you can't do much about it. If you can't do much about it, please seek help and let them come in and salvage the situation through a third-party mechanism. You are not wrong when you do that. You are not being a mommy's girl or a daddy's girl or a sister girl. You are being you. And it's because you want your life. And you don't want to go down dead whilst you could have saved your own life.
Yes, of course. Got
Thank
that.
you.
Right, well, thank you, ladies. Great stuff there. Great insights and things to watch out for. And love is a beautiful thing, but of course, it's important that you're practical and that you love with your eyes open. Otherwise, who knows where you could end up. So we'll do this again next week, Wednesday, 7 o'clock as always. A very big thank you to Esinam, to Adepa, to Mirabelle, my producer who's sitting in for Victor. Yeah, who we miss so much, and who I'm sure is watching us with eagle eyes. Thank you to you as well, and of course to you who tune in every Wednesday to listen to us. We love you and appreciate your time. My name is Animwaa Anim-Addo. We'll do this again next week, Wednesday. Stay safe out there.
Joy 99.7 FM.